very lucky to be joined by the actual organisers of AI for Good. Yes, you've paid for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge because we have Fred Werner and Reinhard Scholl.
Hi, I'm Reinhard. I'm responsible for everything which goes wrong with AI for Good. And lucky me, I got the job to make sure it kind of goes right. So, wow, LJ, thanks for such an introduction. I can't believe it's been, what, 4 years since we all stood on the stage together?
I can't believe it, 4 years ago, and I think everyone's so excited today to just be back in real life.
And maybe a quick show of hands. Who in the audience was here 4 years ago, or even across the road in 2017?
Yes, they've come back for more.
Wow.
Thanks.
A lot of friendly faces here, but a lot of new faces too, which is great. Okay, so before I begin, I'd like to show you something that came across my desk not long ago that might interest you. So I want you to take a second, have a look at this photo, this image, and just try and think what's going on here. Okay? Photo number 2, similar setup, different person, different location. What's going on here? Okay. Photo number 3, I think you get the picture. So what on earth is going on here? Is this a trailer to the latest Mission Impossible movie? Is this some new spy app that you can get on the dark web? No, it's actually an art project called The Follower. So a bit of social commentary, if you will. Now, what this artist did is he basically recorded 10 days, yes, 10 days of video from open camera feeds from public squares around the world. There's thousands of these cameras. And then he went to Instagram and scraped all the publicly available profiles that are geotagged for the same location as the town square camera, and using AI, he made a match. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, in 2017, when we created AI for Good, only a few people had access to this kind of technology. But now with a little bit of creativity and patience and determination, you could literally do this in your bedroom. So I think it's safe to say that AI has entered the mainstream. Now, is this good? Is this bad? Is this a gray zone? Well, it depends, right? In this case, it's a rather creative art project. I kind of like it. I wish I thought of it myself. But it's not hard to imagine how this kind of technology could be used and abused in the wrong hands. And that's one of the many reasons why we created AI for Good. So AI for Good was created on the premise that we now have less than 10 years to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And we saw today that AI has great promise to achieve and advance many of those goals and targets, from climate change to education for all, affordable healthcare, gender equity, autonomous driving, robotics, smart cities. The use cases are undoubtedly there. But how do we know that a high potential application works equally well on men or women, or on children or the elderly, or on persons with different skin colors, or a person with disabilities, or in developing countries where basic things like electricity and connectivity are still an issue? These are not reflexes that occur naturally to the fast-moving tech industry or startups. I think the approach is more like build it and we'll fix it later. But these are things that the AI for Good community think deeply about, and that's why we bring them together around these issues. But how do we know what problems to work on? What's good for me might not be good for you. Different communities, different members, different cultures, they all have different priorities. In fact, I think we could probably spend all week here trying to come up with a common understanding of what is good and probably not get very far. But luckily, we don't have to start from scratch because we have the Sustainable Development Goals to guide us. So for AI for Good, this is our lighthouse, our framework to make sure that we're all on the same page and working towards a common goal. So what is AI for Good? Well, simply put, it's to identify practical applications of AI to advance the Sustainable Development Goals and figure out ways to scale those solutions for global impact. Now, how do we do this? Well, first of all, we can't do this alone. Actually, no one can. That's why we have 40 UN partners as partners of AI for Good since the beginning. So that's virtually the entire UN system helping us with AI for Good. And ITU also co-leads the interagency working group on AI for all these UN partners with our good partner, UNESCO. Now, the AI experts themselves would say that AI is too important to leave to the experts themselves. So great efforts have been made to bring as many voices to the table as possible. So we see industry, academia, government, NGOs, civil society, artists, creatives, athletes, and yes, even robots. So they're all here, and I think you've seen them all here today. So, as you may know, in 2020, we all got hit by the pandemic. It didn't take us long to just move all of AI for Good online, and we're now doing something in the order of 150 online events per year. So that's an AI for Good session online pretty much every other working day. And this year, we're still doing 150 sessions online, plus a global summit. So that's a whole lot of AI for Good. And to support this, we created what we call the AI for Good neural network. So I would describe it as an AI-powered smart matching community platform. And the best way to describe it is actually it's part Netflix, where you get recommendations among hundreds of sessions tailored to your needs. It's also part dating app, where if you take the smart matching quiz, you could, for example, you take the quiz, I have data, I need data, there's a match. I need cloud compute, I have cloud power, there's a match. I need storage, I have storage, there's a match. I need funding, that's a big one. That's probably the biggest match we get on the platform. And since we launched it over a year ago, we have 20,000 plus profiles created, and many people are online right now using the app. So we promised you AI for Good in action, and I'd like to turn the word over to Reinhard, my boss, my mentor, my friend, and without him, none of this would be possible. Reinhard?
You click, okay. Sit here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our digital bouquet of flowers. These are the online services that we offer. And we bunch them into 3 buckets, and we call the buckets Learn, Build, and Connect. And that reflects that AI for Good is a content, events, and a networking platform. But there is also a lot of technical work taking place in the ITU together with other organizations. We already started about 6 years ago with a group, and by the way, all these groups that I'm going to show you here are open to anyone. You don't have to be a member of any organizations. You don't have to pay any fees. Interested to anyone who cares about the topic. So we started about 6 years ago with a group called Machine Learning in 5G Networks, and we developed we, meaning the ITU membership or whoever cared to contribute to the work, created an architecture framework which basically set the language for how people in the communications field talk about machine learning. And one really exciting topic that I want to pick out here is the work that we started 5 years ago with the World Health Organization. You know, we all sort of reasonably maybe trust doctors and medication. And the reason why we have trust in this is because we trust the processes and we trust the institutions. But what about if an AI for Good solution says that I would have skin cancer? What would make it so that I can trust the solution? And that's what this group that we do together with the World Health Organization has been working on for the last 5 years. Another group that I would like to single out, or maybe a couple, is like the AI for Natural Disaster Management. We do this together with the World Meteorological Organization and the United Nations Environment Program. And then we also do a group together with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. For those of you who are a bit more on the techie side, you may know Kaggle, you may know Zindi, you may know AI Crowd. They offer a platform to run commercial challenges, competitions. We do the same. We're also teaming up with them. And so we started this in 2020, and here you see some of the numbers. And then we also run an Innovation Factory, one of the services. So these are pitching sessions for startups. And if you come tonight at 6 o'clock, you will see the winners of our Innovation Factory. Thank you.